everyone. Welcome back to I'm Just Sayin, where we say just about anything we want, including explicit content. This show is for mature audiences only, where discussions happen without adult supervision. Real people, real conversations. Okay, so we're going to get into some pet peeves today and some government conspiracies and things like that. We'll start with some pleasantries. So, when someone asks how you are, unless they're your spouse or mom or best friend, right? Usually it's a courteous pleasantry. Otherwise, we don't want to know your life story. Most people today just want to complain: job, health, healthcare, the government, etc. But the point is, we all are going through something. We just want to say hello and how are you? We just want to say, keep it brief. People don't have time to listen to 15 minutes of negative, draining conversation when all they want to do is get their coffee and go to their desk or their appointment or shopping if you bump into them somewhere. They're just trying to be kind. It's like a hello, how are you? Not, yeah, tell me 20 minutes of your what's happening. Really? And we all know that. But in any case, we just want to get to where we're headed. So especially at a bar, don't get so deep. People go to socialize. They want to forget about their day. Tell me about your vacation or a pleasant quip, right? We want to smile, laugh. Don't make us regret the pleasantries. If you need to vent, get a therapist. They get paid to listen. Maybe that's how people become rude. I don't know. They want to ask how you are or return the question back to you, but if you're actually going to tell me, right? Anyhow, so that's that. Facebook, people that post things that we comment on or ask questions about the person that posted doesn't reply to them. It's rude and tacky. Don't post it if you don't care, or narrow your audience to the one person you really want a response from. Or maybe you just want to see how much attention you will get from the vague post. Yeah. People who don't read someone's post properly and then comment on your comment when they are wrong and they don't even know you. Then you reply courteously about them reading the post wrong, and they don't reply back to that. That's right. Shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, GoFundMe pages. This was started to help people in need, but unfortunately, there were a lot of scams that followed because it was, a quick way to raise money for whatever the real purpose was, right? Take a break. Union. Oh, I know you know what that is if you've been watching. Okay. Filtered or AI versions of, yourselves, themselves, us. I think this is the poor man's version of aesthetic or cosmetic surgery. Look, people, this may come as a shock, but I'm not perfect. And neither are you. I have wrinkles and cellulite and fat on my belly that the world tries to tell you is hormonal and estrogen deficient and to lower your cortisol levels. But it doesn't stop me from being true to myself in the mirror and mentally. I mean, I'm letting it all hang out. You know what I'm saying? All right. So anyway, point is, you may think, well, if you had millions, you would do it. I can't speak for the future. But the me today is saying no. Just no. Okay, so I have nasal issues, right? And thought if I go in for a procedure, I might as well have them trim down the 747 of a nose that I have. People are like, oh, you don't have a big nose. I have a big nose. Stop it. Then I think about all the people that have had nose jobs that don't match the rest of their face, or maybe it's their actual nose. I don't know. Either way, it scares me to end up with something unappealing. Same with boobs. Gravity is a bitch. I considered getting a reduction actually for structural issues. But I don't know that I want to take chances on a botched boob job. I've seen celebrities, a lot of stuff about like, oh, they've got one that's over here, or one smaller than the other, or all kinds of horror stories that is not worth my stress level. Okay, so I don't know if I want to take chances on a botched boob job or go through months of pain and reconstruction while it rebuilds muscle, etc. I know about these things because I know of people who've had it done. And besides that, I gotta have someone to take care of me, or anyway, it's just too much. All right, moving on. The point is just be you, right? Be courageous and show us who you really are. And if you really want to get work done, do it for the right reasons. Yeah. Not because society dictates what you should look like. I mean, why even keep us around? Once we hit 50, you might as well kill us off. I'm sure the government is all over that. Because there's nothing better than rich people than beautiful rich people, right? I'm sure they'll find ways to kill us off so they don't have to pay Social Security that we've paid into our whole lives. Yep, threw that in there right quick. Oh, we're going to get to more of that later. Driving. Oh, God. I mean, y'all know I hate traffic, but the other thing is the driving while texting. If you don't know how, don't. You're not supposed to do it at all, but if you don't know how, don't do it. You're going to cause an accident for someone else or yourself, or just driving stupid. Maybe 20 and a 55, or I don't know. Driving. I remember when the law first came out about driving while on the phone. A lot of people got tickets. Now, they can just talk on the speaker, right, nowadays, or they can wear like a Bluetooth device in their ear, right? So my findings, due to emerging research, while mainstream evidence supports the safety of Bluetooth, some preliminary observational studies have highlighted potential correlations between prolonged daily headset usage and increased risk for conditions like thyroid nodules. To reduce cumulative exposure, some experts advise taking breaks, limiting continuous daily use, or using wired headphones when lounging around the house. Anyway, texting while driving, you shouldn't be, right? So the main indicator is when you're stop and go and you're driving, slowing down, going in and out of your lane. And the most obvious, looking down, I'm behind somebody and I can see their head down, like from their rear view or whatever. Oh my God, it's so frustrating. It's like, get off, like, texting, right? Get off your phone, put your phone down. This is me. I'm like hoping they can see me because, it's frustrating. I told you this is going to be about pet peeves. So buckle up. Okay, here we go. So air and sky stuff. Persistent contrails have recognized environmental impact. These man-made clouds can trap heat in the atmosphere at night, acting similarly to a greenhouse gas blanket. Our air is widely contaminated by everyday human activities, vehicle exhaust, and industrial manufacturing, and power generation, releasing pollutants like smog, ozone, and toxic chemicals into the atmosphere. The scientific and medical consensus on air quality highlights several major concerns. Pervasive pollution: 99% of the global population breathes air that exceeds guideline limits for safety. Industrial chemicals: regulatory bodies continuously monitor industrial emissions. In some regions, facilities release toxic byproducts such as ethylene oxide into the air. I'm sure a lot of you already know that. The health impacts: well, breathing polluted air is linked to respiratory issues, cardiovascular disease, and millions of premature deaths globally. It is a major trigger for individuals with asthma. Yeah. Local conditions: depending on where you live, air quality can change dramatically. California frequently experiences challenging air quality due to geography, dense traffic, and industrial clusters. And yet here we still are, taking inflation up the ass because we love the climate. I'm only here because of my family. Anyway, moving on. Weather manipulation. What a doozy. The most common method is cloud seeding, dispersing substances like silver iodide into existing clouds to encourage precipitation, dissipate fog, or suppress hail. Yeah, cool, right? Keep going. How it works: microscopic particles are introduced into supercooled clouds, providing a surface of water vapor for to condense or freeze onto. This triggers rainfall or snowfall. Why don't they do this why don't they tell us this when you have droughts? Oh my God, we've had droughts here, especially California. I'm just going to talk about my state. Ba-boom. But yeah, why don't they do it when we have droughts? You can't run your sprinklers. Your front yard now has fake grass or astroturf, whatever. Wood chips. What is this? The desert? We didn't sign up for this. We're paying buco bucks to live here for what? Get your shit together, California, or people of California ruling it. Fucking pockets and not their minds. Anyway, how about when we have fires? Same thing. You go on for days or weeks, you lose homes, lives. Firefighters are drained from around the clock scheduling. Oh, come on, people. There are solutions. They just choose not to use them. And think wisely, why not? Where is it used? Okay, at least 9 US states, including California, Colorado, Idaho, and Wyoming, actively utilize cloud seeding to enhance mountain snowpack and boost reservoir levels. Over 50 countries worldwide run operational programs. Mhm. Limitations: it requires the presence of existing clouds with sufficient moisture. It cannot create storms out of thin air or stop naturally occurring extreme weather events. Whatever. Y'all can do it is the point. Okay? So make that shit happen when we need it. Not when you feel like making money on the summit for the skiers. Aspen or whatever the fuck. Ask this. Okay. Moving on. Other techniques in research: fog and hail suppression. Yeah. Commercial programs frequently target fog dissipation at airports and attempt to minimize hail damage to agriculture by seeding clouds with agents designed to produce smaller, less destructive stones. Yeah. Large scale modification: China operates highly visible regional weather modification programs intended to ensure clear skies for major national events, such as the 2008 Olympics, and increase rainfall in drought-stricken regions. That's what I'm talking about, people. Take a page out of the China book, because they did it. They're helping their people. And aren't they supposed to be, communists or whatever and treat their people horrible? I don't know. Dude, I don't live there, but they're doing it. So come on. Licenses. Moving on. If you must have this is one of my faves. Pay attention. If you have to have a license to drive, then you should be required to get a license to have kids or pets. Yeah. Recently seeing increased posts about people having to move and can't keep their puppy or their dog, right? A lot of puppies I'm seeing lately, actually, or small dogs, or an age, that is. So I get the circumstances change. Okay, I get that. But to the point where you can't keep your pet? Are you telling me you had no clue at all that this was an upcoming possibility? I mean, I hope you don't have kids, because what would you do, with them? I mean, animals don't even need that much attention or money spent on them. You know what I'm saying? Maybe keep the dog and tell your kid to get out. I'm just saying. Most of them are disrespectful and unappreciative anyway. I've been working since I was little and officially receiving paychecks at 16. So stop enabling the people in your life with not having to work. Fuck that. Get off your ass. Stop claiming money from the rest of us who are busting ours. Punk ass motherfuckers. Half dead motherfucker. Yeah, exactly that part. Anywho, also, side note, I'm sick of working my ass off. Again, taxes taken out to provide for those who don't work, whatever the fucking reason is. I'm just tired of it. Okay. And our taxes pay for other things too. I already did an episode of taxes. Episode 3 was taxes. And that was part of that. It's like, you're making us work our ass off forever, right? Until we die or retire, or almost the same thing, whatever. And our money, we don't even keep, like, we'll pay this and we'll pay that. Y'all make money. So why don't you just take that, little budget for your policemen and your firefighters and all the first responders, etc. Anything that comes out of our checks, print money and do it. Budget that. Different department. I'm just saying, do I need to come over there and work for y'all? I'm mad. I'm mad today, folks. Told you it's going to be pet peeves and government shit. Conspiracies. Population control. Another good one. They don't want to pay us Social Security. They just want to kill us off. I'm telling you. You go to countries like Canada, where you have to have a job lined up and a home, know somebody before you can even move there. They should do that everywhere. I mean, I love living in Thousand Oaks, but Man, did it get overly populated in the last 5 years. Probably more than that, but damn, it's just getting worse. And they keep building and building. And it's like gonna invite more people, more traffic, more money. But meanwhile, we're like, we're losing the beauty of where we live. You greedy fucking people. Capitalists. Just like there's a maximum occupancy in elevators and restaurants, they should do that where you move. Of course, they're not going to do that. They don't care about us, but they just want to keep building, overpopulating, and killing our land and trees that didn't belong to them in begin with. Bullying and pillaging and killing. That's what all governments do. And they use our soldiers to do it. Yeah. And by the way, thank you for your service, but they don't care about you either. You are dispensable, and that's why you're in the wars. And I'm so sorry for you and your families. Population control refers to government policies or international strategies aimed at managing the size, growth rate, and distribution of a population. While the movement historically focused on curbing overpopulation, today it primarily involves balancing reproductive rights with demographic and economic sustainability. Voluntary family planning. It focuses on empowering individuals to decide the number and spacing of their children by expanding access to education, reproductive health services, and contraceptives. Socioeconomic development, the demographic transition theory shows that as living standards, healthcare, and female education and workforce participation rise, birth rates naturally decrease with coercion. Coercive measures. Historically, extreme policies like forced sterilizations or mandates like China's one-child policy were used. But these are largely condemned today due to severe human rights violations and demographic distortions. Human rights? We have those? Is that the same as a woman choosing to terminate her pregnancy, or are women not human nor have rights? I'm just saying. The looming sub-replacement crisis. While rapid population growth was the defining global fear of the 20th century, the dynamic for many industrialized nations is now reversed. Countries like Japan, South Korea, Russia, and several European nations are actively trying to boost birth rates to avoid economic stagnation and shrinking workforces. Oh my God. Get a plant. Enough. Ooh, another one I strongly dislike. Big Pharma. Medication fixes one thing, but has many side effects. Okay, people? Wake the fuck up. Donepezil, or whatever the hell that shit is most commonly prescribed for Alzheimer's medication. It's an inhibitor that treats mild, moderate, and severe forms of Alzheimer's related dementia. Okay, but the side effects are nausea, diarrhea, vomiting, muscle cramps, fatigue, and insomnia. Okay. Medications like Lipitor are among the most heavily prescribed drugs globally to lower LDL, bad cholesterol, and prevent heart attacks. Right, but the possible side effects are severe muscle damage, liver damage, blood sugar increase, allergic reactions like swelling of the face, lips, tongue, or throat, leading to difficulty breathing or swallowing. Yeah, let's pop pills. I mean, the point is the medication provided could help us as a temporary measure or just keeping you alive. But what about all the damage it does to your other organs? Long-term use can be dangerous, especially if you come off the medicine, because your body is looking for it, and that can also be dangerous. So you got to figure that shit out. Please, people, do research. Don't just be like, this hurts, here's your prescription. Okay, next thing you know, you have fucking 10 things in your medicine cabinet. Do your research. A lot of things could be avoided if you do it naturally. Even I can't emphasize that enough. You come off the medication and you feel it's just, you don't take it, it's this way. I'm just done. It's a tangled web of greed, period. All right. So any of you people on Nextdoor This is like a community, almost like a community Facebook. It was supposed to just be for informative things, but people use it for so much shit that it's really fucking annoying. Advertisements and, oh my God, this person cut me off. And I don't give a fuck. Do something about it. I don't know what to tell you. We don't want to know about that stupid shit. Now, if there's a shooting, there's fire in the area, like that's what we should be talking. Animals, like, oh, mountain lions sighting bears, fine. But stupid shit, come on, save it for your own social media shit. Ugh. Moving along. So people who getting to that point, people who post on Nextdoor or other social media outlets about complaints. I mean, people who cut you off in traffic or cut you in a line somewhere. Do you think that your post is going to go viral? I don't understand. Like, you're some superstar that your message is going to reach a person that upset you. They don't fucking know you're even. They probably from another town. They're not. Oh my God, really? Do they want attention? Is that what you want? There are other ways to get it. I get it if someone does a kind gesture, though. I'm not going to hate. Like I said, there are things that we want to be informed on, right? So if you want to tell us something nice, like that doesn't usually happen, like you're in the line for coffee and someone in front of you was like, you know what, they did a nice deed for the day. Sure. I'd love to pay it forward. Like you make someone smile and that person makes someone else smile. And that's what's up. All right. Handicap parking. I think a lot of people think handicapped automatically means you or your passenger has a walking disability. Okay. Which is why you need to park so close. No, that's not the only reason why people have handicap stuff. But I would think that if you could walk, fine. If you're walking normally or if you're walking whatever, then you could probably park anywhere else. But I don't care. It's not my place to say. If you feel you can sleep at night, great. I think a lot of people think that, though. They think it's because people can't walk well, so that's why they park close. I don't know. That's just my take on it. So, but when you leave your car and whatever. Anyway, people use other people's handicap signs too, which cringe. Whatever. Moving on from that. Kids today. Imagine a doctor who's afraid of their patients, or how would you treat them? A lawyer afraid of their client. How would you represent them? A teacher afraid of their students. How would they be taught? If you have kids and you don't, I don't know if I want to say you're afraid or you don't have the time or whatever the reason is, or you don't care. There's all kinds of parents out there, from really great parents that they don't give a shit, right? So, I mean, if you want your kids to learn the right way and have standards and, you want to raise them right, period, then you have to put in the time, not to compare, but yeah, fuck it. We're comparing. If you had a dog, if you have a pet, you want to train them to sit and not pee in the kitchen and blah, blah, blah. You take the time to train them because you want them to learn the right way. You're supposed to do the same thing with your kids. Huge responsibility. I couldn't do it. I'm not a parent. Are you kidding me? It's the hardest job in the world, if you ask me. But, if you're going to have kids, you got to go all the way. There's no selfishness happening here, people. You got to take the time to be with them, be in their lives, etc. You're going to get all of the, puberty and the I hate yous and the slamming of the door and the sneaking out. It's going to happen. We've all done it. And if you haven't, you probably should have, because probably other issues with you. Anywho, point being, unfortunately, there are a lot of unruly kids. Yeah. Even when I was growing up, there's always going to be bullies. But what about the parents? Like, I would say that they're the origin of the problem, but that's not necessarily always the case. I feel like if you are a great parent, hopefully they will at least come to you, at worst or best. I don't know. But that's not always the case. It's not always because of the parent. A fraction of kids get lost in the wrong circles. Maybe because if you can't beat them, join them, type of thing. Maybe that's how gang members start. You live in a bad neighborhood and your parents, it's just, the environment, right? Bottom line is we are the product of our environment, the spaces we inhabit, the people we interact with. Yeah. And the information we consume shape who we become. Let's look at some different examples. Like if your father or mother or both beat you growing up, or beat your father beats the mother, or whatever, mom beats you, you're either going to grow up and beat your own kids, or you're not going to lay a hand on them, right? Or you're going to be a bully in school because your dad's a bully to you or whatever. Either way, you might need therapy. I don't know. But the fact that you chose not to hit your kid means there's emotional intelligence there, there empathy towards others. All of that also applies to parents that are alcoholics or, abusive mentally. Parents that don't encourage or support their kids' decisions. A father might want his son to play sports and maybe he wants to dance. Or maybe the mom wants you to be like a debutante, but she wants to be a stunt woman. There are other negative factors like racism. Your parents raise you to marry within your own culture. A lot of cultures do this. A lot of races do this. Okay. And I get it because they're saying if you stay in your own culture, it's easier because relationships are hard as it is. So if you're in your own culture, at least you understand more, right? You get each other. I feel like those days are way past though, because we are so modernized now, and thank God for that, because there should not be a divide because of the color of your skin or because of type of food you eat. If it's religious and if it's that big of a deal, then that's on you, whatever. But I just feel like if you love someone, you love them for them, not because they're not the same skin color or they don't have a degree or, you're a human being and that's how you should treat others, right? Look at yourself. How would you like to be treated? And reciprocate positively, I might add, not negatively. Okay. So in any way, social class, that's another one, right? I mentioned that I think social class you fall under, perhaps you fall in love with someone that's poor and your family's rich, or maybe he's he works in a diner. It shouldn't matter. Between our family and friends and society overall, we make a lot of decisions that are good for them, but we lack the courage to stand up and say, I'm okay with it. This is what I want. I'm going to do it. I'm going to try. And yeah. Hopefully along the way, we learn and choose to become a better version of ourselves. I work on myself every day. It's a lot of work. Networks, social media. The media, as in news networks and social media, playing a huge role, can be confusing. These days, we don't know what to believe, right? When 9/11 happened, there was a lot of disbelief in conspiracy theories going around, like the Pentagon was to blame or that our government covered up yet another situation, another mistake. We're blaming another country again. I mean, I'm not saying other countries don't have faults. In fact, all governments are criminal, okay? Equal opportunity criminals, all the governments. But what I'm saying is it's easy for make us believe whatever our governments want us to believe, meaning, because we're afraid of the alternative, obviously. Otherwise, we'd do something about it. We can't do anything about it. We can't. We could. Revolution? This isn't Hunger Games, at least not yet. And believe me, I was worried about that, especially with the person that's currently in that chair. Anyway, yeah, not even worth saying the name. Yeah, back to that. So it's because we're afraid of the alternative. So our government could be trying to scare us, harm us, or not care if they break a few eggs trying to make their greedy omelets, right? Just saying. Ugh. We're almost done. Don't worry. I'm going to need a drink though, real quick. Boom. You may agree with all or some of the points made today, but here's the thing. If we do nothing, nothing happens. You may not be able to convince people of all the conspiracies, but at least you can plant a seed in their brain, which is the point of today for me. So people will think about it. Change starts with you. Okay? Because again, if you do nothing, nothing happens. And on that note, folks, I'm done with this episode. All right. I just want to do a quick shout out to some of my fellow podcasters like Russell Shoot and Ghosted and Y2K-ish, you know, Paranormal, The New Normal, The Asylum. You got to check them out. They're on the ASN network, Antisocial Network. They brought us here. Respect. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for all of you tuning in, and hope you like the show. And if you didn't, scroll on, don't troll on. I'm just saying. Till we meet again.